play. I don't know what's gonna happen, but fuck it. Oh fuck, stop. How's it going, lads? What we have here is a Pioneer RT707 reel-to-reel tape deck from the mid to late 1970s. I picked this up recently and it was outdoors in a terrible state, heading for a recycling centre, when I just took one look at it and said, yeah, that's worth taking a look at. Now, my camera's dying, right. So the plan is we're going to open this thing up and we're going to do a complete restore on it. Now, I've already had this open. I actually began the restoration process when I decided that'd be worth making a video of. So I've actually reassembled it, you know. That's why there's the knobs are missing, the screws are out of the side, because I had it open. And I'm just going to start from, I'm just going to redo what I did. And what I've done so far is I've worked on these pinch rollers, and they're all seized up. There's two big solenoids inside here, one here and one here. This one activates the rollers, this one activates the brakes and some other things, but they're all gunged up. So what I've done is I've said, no, let's stop and let's put it all back together and we'll just do it all again from scratch. But we get it on film this time, so maybe there's something anyone with a similar machine might learn, including myself, as I'm not familiar with these machines. But I have had a look inside. There's about 7 different analog circuit boards in there. So, well, 1, 2, 3, yeah, there's 7 or 8 different boards, and there are lots and lots of capacitors. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to rip her open and I'm going to show you where I was and what I did. Now, as I said, when I got this, it was outdoors, so it was wet inside. It wasn't rusty as such, but it was damp. And I've had this in my house for 2 weeks. And the other night I actually powered it up to see would it explode, but no, the lights came on. And when you press play, this spins. When you press rewind, that spins. And when I got that far, I said, okay, let's go and go the full hog and see what we can get out of it. Now, I didn't, this is the take-up reel, which is empty, so I don't have any actual tape. So in the course of the last 2 weeks, I went and found an old tape here in Ireland that was for sale. No idea what's on it. It looks vintage. But so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you where I was. And I'm going to continue cleaning up the mechanical side of it, because there was grease and lubricant inside on these mechanical parts, and they are like, the grease is essentially turned into tar, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it apart now, get back to where I was, and then continue the repairing of it. So yeah, so that's it for now, and we'll get back to it. Okay, so here we are again. Okay, so now we're looking in from the back of the machine. And what I was saying about these servos, here's the main capstan servo motor. There's another one motor there, and another one there. Those are 3 motors. You can see that all the wiring is hand wound. There's no soldering connecting the boards. There's another board down here under that plate. That's the line input board, the input board. And on the back of the machine, you have your ACN. Have it set to 220 volts for here in Ireland. And then we have recording out. You can see that. Output play, input record, and then you have output levels here and here. There we go. The old badge, what does the badge say? Model RT707. Yeah, so that's a look at the back of it open. And I have to remove all these capacitors on all these boards without actually removing any of the boards. It has to be all done in situ, because I mean, just look at the amount of wires going to each board, and they're all hand wound connections, and you're not going to snip those wires off and solder them back on. The whole point is to maintain this as close to as it was originally built, like keep it original. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is flip it back around again, take off the front plate and show you what I've done so far, and then I'll just continue from there. I'm going to keep working on it. Now this is going to be a slow project because I have to identify each set of capacitors. Like I'm going to do it one board at a time. I'm going to do the power supply board first. What I'm going to do, my plan is to mechanically, like I'll do all the front, all the mechanics to see is the playing, rewinding, or the brakes working on the reels. Because if you're ever rewinding or fast forwarding one of these reel-to-reel machines and your brakes aren't working correctly, when you hit stop the reels keep spinning and the tape just goes everywhere. So we get it mechanically working that way, and then what we do is we'll put in this vintage tape I got and see will there actually any noise come out of it. All I can do for test is plug in headphones because I don't have any external speakers set up. But if we do get sound coming out of it, somewhat, realistic sound, it's going to be a big project, so it's going to be a long project. And as I said, I'm going to do the power supply board. This first one's got to be done. And I'm going to work on each board one by one. I'll work on the power supply, recap it, and I'll put it back together and see am I still working. If that works, then I'll move on to the servo controller board, which I believe is this one. And same process again. Recap all the caps that are on that board, plug it back together, see if it's still working, and just proceed that way. And I watched some videos on these, and all these machines of this vintage, this era, have these R875 transistors, I think they're called, and they all have to be replaced as well. So this is going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a slow project. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a lot of detailed photographs of each one of these boards before I go near anything. Because I mean, like here's two orange wires, let's say. Look, two orange wires side by side, hand wound. Imagine they both break off. How am I ever going to know where they went to, because I'm like, some of these boards I can see just from here looking like they're designed to be kind of taken out so you can get to both sides of the board, to desolder, to solder stuff back in. But I mean, you can see all the crud that's now on these boards. You can just have a look, like a lot of dirt. And as I said, this was all damp when I got it, very damp. And I don't even know if this may be beyond me, because this is a lot of work. Yeah, they're the head amplifier boards and your main audio outs board there. That's your power supply. And I really wonder, am I going to do this? Because sure, why not? We'll just crack on. So yeah, we'll leave it there for a minute, and next we'll get on to taking the front plate off, and then I can show you what I've done, and then we'll be up to speed, and then I can just continue with this. So I'll see you in a minute, lads. Okay, so that's the front off, and as you can see, like, it's a very big system, like. And what I was saying earlier, this solenoid here operates 2 pinch wheels, and each spindle here has a brake thing on it, and that's what this solenoid does. And you see, I don't know if you're picking that up, but you have this very slow movement on the retreat, like, and that's from the dried in grease. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to take it apart. This is the heads, the delicate heads, the heart of the system, like the brain, the most important part, the head. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep stripping it down. And as I said, I've done this already, so I'm just redoing what I did already. I just decided to make a video of it, so we're going to remove the side parts here. a little bit of fabric on the back of that wheel, which goes over the capstan, and I'm pretty sure that's to prevent dust getting into the bearing. Lovely little touch. That needs a bit of work on it. Try and just keep everything as rigid as possible. Can you see what I'm doing here? Oh, Jesus, that screwdriver is magnetic. That's maybe not a good idea next to those heads. Well, I do remember from my earlier days, years ago, of recording music, you don't ever put magnetic stuff near tape recorder heads. Now this is where the heads are. So that's not worth a slap. Jesus, give me a screwdriver that works. All my tools are just need to go in the bin. There we go. Now I had a look at the heads and they were in poor condition. Last night I started to do a bit of a clean up, but as I said, like, this was left out in the rain, outdoors. That's the cover plate. Pioneer Auto Reverse Direct Drive RT707. Play arm, record arm, or no, axon. AXM. I can't read that, wrong glasses. Anyway, that goes up there. So now you can see our heads. And this mechanism, I can see that now, my hand's in the way, you're able to see it. But what I want to get to now is this mechanism. And I'll get you in closer so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the solenoid for obviously the two rotors, 1, 2. And what I found was originally that this little arm here was seized, it wouldn't move. So it was a case of taking the whole, like, I had to remove this whole plate, the whole head plate, and undo a tie wrap on the harness at the back to give me an extra bit of plate so I could flip it up 90 degrees, which gave me access to these two swing arms underneath, which I then cleaned, and believe me, there was a lot of dirt in there. And so now I'm not going to remove it again because I did it all. I've cleaned and lubricated these, and you can see there's a little latch there to lock them up. This one's the same. What I want to do next is this, and if you go and zoom, you'll see it. Like, I mean, I'm gonna let go. Look how slow this come out. See that delay? Like, it's instead of just jumping back, it's and I'm gonna remove these brake covers, the two front rotor heads, whatever you call them, and then you'll see the brake system, and then I'll be back to where I was. So give me a second. There we go, another quick update. I have the spindle off on this side, and underneath you can see here's the little spindle, and around is this this kind of a felt belt, which it's a brake, you see. And like, your wheel is flying, fast forward, you hit stop, this thing comes down instantly to stop the wheel, because you don't want the wheel whizzing all, otherwise your tape goes everywhere. And there's the same thing here, like, and I'm getting down to it. But I'm going to actuate this solenoid on this side with my thumb, and you'll see the delay I'm talking about. So that's brake off, and I let go now. Can you see that delay? You can see it here, watch the mechanism slowly going back out. You can see it activating the brake under there, like, it's just slow, and that's simply down to years, like 30-40-year-old grease is in here, and all you have to do is take it all apart, clean away all the old grease, give it a good clean, and give it some new fresh oil. And all I'm going to use is on everything is a single drop of yay old faithful 3-in-1 oil. I don't know is it right or wrong, but I think that's good enough. Just on the mechanical parts down here, you know, these little arms. Just a little tiny drop. So now you can see more clearly the brake mechanism. Put my hand out of the way, you can see it. Here's the little totally dead belt which drives the counter down here, which has two wires coming out of it, I think, which would indicate this thing also triggers a auto reset or auto stop when you rewind back to zero, perhaps. Anyway, we'll keep going. I have to take out this. So, can you see what I'm doing here? Yeah. To take off the wheel, first you have to take off the little spring loaded guy here. I mean, this is it's a mechanism for locking your wheel in place. I'm going to show you that there. Show you. So you get your wheel, it sits on over the two flights, and you line up, and then to lock it in place, just pull out a little bit and bang. That's how you lock your wheels in place. Cool. Both these little knobs sticking out the front were they got hit over the years because they're not on center, they're off center. Right, so that's that. Now I have these 3 screws. But now I'm basically back where I was, and this should just come off. Yeah, first time seeing that. And as expected, it's the same as what this was. Very complicated. I just figured it out as I went along. So he goes there, he goes there, and he goes there. Those are those 2 screws. So okay, so now we're getting close to where I was. Right, let's have a closer look at this and we'll see where we are. As you can see, here's our solenoid, right? And you can see that's slow. You can see the full range of motion of what it's meant to do, right? Brake off, brake on. That's all this does as far as I can see. Now, under these 2 meters, they're connected somehow. Just the swing arms were below. Now can I move these out of the way? Yeah, and in there somehow. No, there's no give on that. But I want to get all this stuff out. So what I imagine looking at is disconnect this spring. This spring, remove this C-clip, take out the pin which will separate this little arm from the piston. C-clip on top here, over here the same. Where's the pivot point? Pivot point is right here, so I got lubricate in there, lubricate in there, and I think that's it. And maybe, yeah, here. Yeah, there's 2 or 3 points that I just have to get in there and just oil them, and that will free that up. And then when you hit stop, this brake should come on instantly and stop it. Now you may have noticed that like the knobs are missing, knob is missing, a button missing, and a button missing. They're not missing, I've just took them all off, because this one, there was a bit of damage on the button and this one, but it's very simple to fix. This one, it got a bang down here because the pot was crooked in half, it's missing. I may have to replace this pot inside, but that's way far down the road. So what we'll do, I think for now, is we're just going to try and take the whole mechanism out. So here we go. Wish me luck, lads. Oh, get a little face. Let's start with this guy. What I'm doing is, the C-clip has 2 little spaces at the back where you can get a screwdriver in, and you can slowly start prying it back. But remember, it's under compression, so as soon as as soon as the C-clip goes over its maximum, it's going to compress and project itself off, thrust itself like so you have to be ready for this thing to shoot, and you cannot lose these. You cannot lose these C-clips. And there's one C-clip, see? It's called a C-clip. So he's good. C-clip there. What we're looking for now is there a little washer underneath that? Usually there's some kind of washer. Doesn't seem to be. Well, anyhow, we got him off, and now we're going for the next C-clip. Nothing's ever easy. Now, little flathead screwdriver, there we go. So maybe I'll cut it up with this finer point. Yeah, that's better. But nothing to lever off, that's the problem. Oh, got it. That's the second one. That's the C-clip from the piston, from the solenoid to the whole aperture. And I'm pretty sure that that should disconnect now. First, I think that C-clip is bigger than the first one. Yes, it is, so obviously lay them out in some manner that represents the way it took them out. Springs. Well, that doesn't want to come out. Come on, spring. Stop being goddamn stupid. There we go. I gotta get more light down here. Oh, Jesus! Ah! Oh, I just put my fucking hand on a red hot bulb, you idiot! Jesus, that busted! Oh, you fucking idiot. Anyway, right, okay. That's better, a bit more light. Yeah. So now, we have the C-clip off of this. So it must go back to it. We have this one off. Yeah, there's actually a lot to this, you know, there's a lot to this. Oh God, I burnt the bloody finger off myself. Oh, there we go. Solenoid just slides off this. There we go. Come on, have you? Yeah. There we go. So that was a solenoid connection link. Yeah, can you see that? Solenoid connection link. Oh, it's behind that plate. And he went on to that, C-clip off, and now he's off. One bit free. And you can see how tight that is, how slow that is, how bunged up that is. Okay, next thing is this spring. And springs can be a terrible thing. I've noticed in this machine that all the springs have a bit of glue on them, so that they don't actually pop off in oh shit, oh there we go. There we go, the spring is still there, so he's off now. I think we're nearly ready to pop this off, right? No, that's just tight, Jesus. Yeah, I'm getting it off. Where is it? Yeah, back a bit. You can see I'm working it by hand, and I'm just putting a little bit of pressure behind, and it is coming out. And I can see the amount of dried out grease behind it. Now some people just get away with putting a bit of lubricating oil in there, and that does it, but I prefer to take the whole mechanism off, clean off all the old shit, and put in some new oil. Because then you know you're doing it right. Because this mechanism is going to start blocking off components here, I might have to take all this out to get this arm out properly. And in fact, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Because all of these arms go right behind this. Yeah, it's not really ideal. Actually, it's so tight. I think what we might have to do is like, just to show you how bad it is. I'm just gonna. That's the grease from behind that shaft, and it's gooey. It's thick like. But as soon as I get this mechanism cleaned up, I'm going to put it back together and attempt to play that vintage tape I have to see is there any life coming out of it, and that will then decide as to whether or not I'm going to attempt a full restore of this device, this machine. This is old. They don't make them like this anymore, that's for sure. And it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of time. Just identifying the parts is going to be fun. All the capacitors I'm going to need, but hey, it was easy. I want to be doing it right. What was that? Did I just see a bloody washer? I did. A little tiny plastic spacer, transparent. And look, can you see that? That's what was under the C-clip, a little plastic washer. I found two similar washers down by the heads down here. Now I'm trying to push it back on with the oil in place, see what happens. And it doesn't want to go in. Oh, we gotta wriggle it as it goes in again. So a little bit of force. And already it seems to be going back faster, but not fast enough. And again, you can't exactly remove anything because it's all wired throughout the machine through big harnesses, bundles of cables, and then the end of the wires are hand wound onto the corresponding pins in the circuit board. I mean, it's just, they didn't really build these to be taken apart, to be honest, you know. Well, we're getting some movement on it now, alright. Oh, I have that most of the way off now. I haven't 80% off the shaft, which gives me a chance to clean out all the grease that's there and replace it with oil. You see, that's what came out of the bore shaft. That's what's slowing it down. We just need to free that up. And I mean, with the ones down here, the two swing arms for these rollers, I mean, they were all slow and gooed up as well. And just after a bit of cleaning, look. And these guys, like, I mean, that barely moved, and now it just falls back with a tiny bit of force. So it doesn't take much to do. It's just a gentle bit of love and care and a bit of patience, and you will start getting results. Now I can't push this off too far because I'm pretty sure this arm is being restricted by, yeah, it's by that. But surely if I just undo, oh fuck, if I want to get that out of the way. Many pins, many nuts, screws. Just enough to maybe put him forward that last little bit so he actually comes off. So let's just keep going. I have to be careful what I'm levering off. Yeah, it's still coming out, like it still wants to come. Yeah, it's touching off of this again, so I have to remove this. Oh god, this has turned out to be a lot more than I expected to do. So that's 3 more screws. Oh, geez, I have it 90% off. No, I'm not going anymore. I have it 90% off. A couple of cotton buds, I'll be able to clean off all that grease. When I push it back on, it'll be as free. Go all the way around the shaft. Again, brass, like there's brass bushes, highly engineered components. Like, I mean, you know, it's how they used to build stuff in the past. They used to build stuff to last, which they don't anymore. I see grime everywhere. It's just age, but hey, it still works. Now we wanted to, yeah, oh yeah, that's there we go. That's the problem coming out now. Oh yes. Now look. See that? Boom. See? That's all it took. Just that one bush. I'm happy with that. But I'm not to get some 3-in-1 oil there, so back out again. Up in here. Actually, I'll clean it off first. Clean off all the WD-40 and any more dirt that's there. That's all it was, dried out grease. And just one drop. Don't go nuts, just one drop. And what I do is I put a drop on, then I get a clean cotton bud to spread out that drop of oil, but also to mop up possibly 90% of it, because we don't want oil dripping everywhere. Same in here. And believe me, there's still plenty of oil left to lubricate that, so now just back in and look, boom, 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 boom. Remember, that was slow motion returning. attach this spring, just because there's only one spring activating it. How the fuck did that connect? Oh, I see it's on the other side, yeah. So that actually comes up the back, then over the front of that. So now, it's fantastic. So we got that spring on, that spring, and much better. You can see it now, really fast. So I'm going to just keep putting it back together. I'm just reassembling this, cleaning as I go. And next thing is he should just come out. Oh, he can't because he's in the way. Yeah, and that was just a bit of brute force to get him to go on there. Line up. Boom, that's it. So solenoid is now driving it again. See? And that's what Joe. I may have to do all this again, I don't know, but I'm happy with that so far. Now, so I'll put it back together, lads. I'll be back to you in a minute. Right, so we have the head up, and we have enough room to just slightly, you know, put 90 degrees to the machine, and then this gives us access to these two swing arms. And you can see how they work. It's just two swinging arms, interlock in the middle, and again, that was all bunged up. That was all bunged up. Now, a little hint if you're taking this apart. On the top of this and this are these two little tiny plastic washers. Do not lose them. And what you have, you can see the whole mechanism here working. Solenoid up here, pulls in this shaft. This pin here goes through the shaft. This rotates this wheel, this rotates that wheel. So that's what I did there. I took it apart just to show you what I did. Now I'm going to put it back together. And I'm going to clean the heads with isopropanol, put it all back together, and try that tape and see what we have. So, talk to you in a minute. Okay, lads, well, we got it back together, we got it plugged in, and the capstan is turning. And if you press play, it won't play because there's no tape. It'll try, but then it'll stop. See, it'll stop. If you press it and hold it, it'll keep playing for you. That looks insanely fast for play speed, but that's the way it goes, I don't know. And well, it's got plenty of power in it. But, oh, it's stopping. Do you see how fast it stopped? Hang on, if I do rewind, and when you hit stop, because before they didn't stop, they kept spinning, so that's a big difference. We'll try fast forward, and it stops. So I've cleaned the heads, I've lubricated the armature up here for the brakes. So let's throw on this tape I got and see what happens. I have no idea what's going to come out of this. I don't even know if there's going to be any noise. I have no idea, like. So and what I saw before is these lock up, and then what you're supposed to do is under that, I suppose, and there. And this is from watching a few other videos of people. Is that it? I have the headphones plugged in, so here's wishful thinking. I'm going to hit play. I don't know what's going to happen, but fuck it. Oh fuck, stop. And that didn't work. Turn off the power. So I obviously put him on backwards. pop them up. 1, 2, power on or off? On. Right. How do you know it's not twisted? Is that it? Well, this is what I see them doing on the internet. I don't know. All I can do is hit play, sure. So if the headphones in, tape, don't know what it is, and hit the play button. Oh, that looks better. Oh fuck, I hear music. I have music in the right ear. Nothing in the left ear. Now I'm hearing music in the left ear. But the music is playing backwards. And sounds pretty shit, to be honest. Oh. Oh wow. When I went the other way, it started playing the music right, but then on the left ear, but then the right ear went backwards. Now what do I do? I can't say that, like, it doesn't sound anyway good. So stop. And they stopped, there's no mess, because bird's nest is what you see on the internet. So let's try fast forward. That looks pretty okay, doesn't it? That look okay, people? I'm used to recapping vintage equipment. I've never worked on a reel-to-reel tape deck, so I'm learning here. That looks pretty good. Oh yeah, the big test. Stop. Will it go everywhere? Give me a hand up here in case it don't. Oh, look at that, man. Oh, they're stuck. Oh, I don't know. Fast forward. Oh, that's better. I had him locked up. I don't know, is that right? Like? But for something that was sitting out in the rain for weeks, that's not bad. I'll never stop it. It's just, oh, look at the tape here, it's all neatly packed compared to that, like, so whatever I'm doing, this is a good idea, because that's all neatly packed compared to what's like on that. Play and go backwards, which is what I did earlier. Wow, I have Rod Stewart playing in this here. I have some little girl talking on this channel. And they're talking English, like, but both channels are actually playing the right way now. But it's two separate tracks. One is on left and one is on right. What am I getting wrong here? Oh my god, I'm listening to a little child here on the left channel talking. Oh, I wish you could hear this, but Chris, you can't hear nothing. What am I plugging into? Oh, I've nothing to amplify it. But this is a major success. I have sound. I'm listening to some little child singing Jingle Bells on this channel, and then some other kids talking backwards on this side. Very bizarre. Only no idea how old this tape is, where it's from, but jeez, it's working like. And everything on the desk seems to work. So, and as to the quality of this tape, what can I say? I have no idea what's on it, but it looks a lot better on this side than it did on that side. So the next thing will be to record something. Stick a microphone and see can I record something on it. Repeat, push on, repeat. I'm just going to keep playing it, goddammit. This is weird, listen to this. So, we'll be back in a minute, lads. I'm just going to listen to this for about an hour. So, I'm just going to hold the headphones up to this and maybe you can hear it like. But, yeah, so I hit play. Now it did have its own music or sound on it. It was just some really crappy recording from God knows when. It seemed to be someone's Christmas party, and the sound quality was absolute shite. So what I did is I took a line output from my computer, 2 phono jacks to the back, put in a source line in, adjusted the volume from down here, and I was getting a pretty decent needle output, and all the line inputs are working correctly to adjust where you want it. So I pressed play and I came out with this. I don't know, can you hear it like? Oh, I can't hear anything. Oh, I hit source. There we go. Pause. So it is working. Now I know the sound quality you're hearing is pure shite. It's out of a goddamn headphone. But play the other side. That's what I was hearing earlier on, like all backward sounds, people talking, people singing. But I mean, everything works. Fast forward. Stop. The brakes work. Rewind. Stop. Play. And of course, I have that button. I just have to do a very simple repair on it. Oh, it's the other side. And the LEDs for the directional control, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That one worked. This one hasn't yet, but I'm pretty sure it's just loose connections. They're little dim green LEDs. So mechanically, the other thing I have to do is the little rubber belt that comes from up here down to the back of that. It's gone, like it's just putrefied into absolute shite. So that's where we are with this. So I've decided, and like I don't know how, like what kind of quality that tape is like. I know black tape is what you want really, ideally, but I'm looking at using this for mastering a few albums I've done, because the sound quality is just digital is just boringly old nonsense at this stage to me, like. So yeah, repair that. That'll be the end of the mechanical repairs, except for a few there's a little dent on it here. It's gorgeous. There's a few little marks on the faceplate. I'm pretty sure I can get them off and give it a good polish, get it to shine nicely, give the heads a proper clean again. But that's where it is for now. And of course what I have to do then is begin the beautiful task of working in here, because I know, because yeah, the sound quality isn't that fantastic. There's a lot of hiss, static. And I know that's because of the 685 transistors. I think that's what they're called. And what happened was, back in the day, they coated the legs of these old little amplifier transistors with silver. Great idea. But over the years, the silver basically goes up the legs of the transistor, goes into the package, and the transistors begin to fail, which is exactly what's happening. And all audio equipment of this era has the same transistors, and they all have to be replaced. So I think I'm gonna take this on as a huge bloody project, because those little transistors are on all the audio boards, and all the capacitors have to be changed, and you're talking hundreds. This is going to be 2-3 months of work. But this is my intro video anyhow onto the Pioneer RT707 that I got about 2 weeks ago in a yard. I was just sitting in the rain, abandoned, heading to be recycled, and I now have it playing music. I'm going to hold the speaker next to the camcorder. Hope you can hear it. And this is the pitch control. Oh, of course that's the end of the recording I made, so go back a bit. Oh, fuck, stop, play. Listen to the pitch. Back up higher. What a way to be doing audio, with a headphone up to a cheap camcorder. But anyhow lads, there you go. That's where we are with this. Can I get that go? Oh, it came on there. Did you see it? Yep. There's the reverse light coming on. Where am I? Over here, yeah. See the reverse light? The LED comes on. Still haven't got the forward one to come on. Oh, the green light's coming on the whole time now. Won't be surprised if that one comes on. I mean, everything essentially is working. Mechanically, it just needed some proper TLC inside. It was just all gunged up grease. And lots of biscuits and bits of rubbish that Christ knows where that comes from. But yeah, we got that going. Yeah, and now that green LED is staying on all the time, so yeah, we're slowly kicking the years out of it and bringing it back to life. But I'm quite content now with that much done today and yesterday that it's possibly worth tearing into the insides of it, because in order for any device like this to get back to its former glory, you have to go in here and you have to do a lot of soldering, desoldering, replacing. Those electrolytic capacitors, they're all 40 years old now, probably 50 years old. Geez, this is the 70s. And they'd all be going out of date and out of spec. And especially those 785 transistors, I think they're called. So anyhow lads, that's where this is for now. I'll get into it and I'll give you an update sometime in the future. Good luck!